An ex-Marine grapples his way through a web of small-town corruption when an attempt to post bail for his cousin escalates in a violent standoff with the local police department. Hey, what's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review, this time for Netflix's Rebel Ridge. It did come out on September 6, 2024. I just got the chance to watch it in the comfort of my own home. And before we get into it, I gotta say, it's been a while since I've actually reviewed something on streamer. I'm usually reviewing movies from the theater, whether it's a major release or an independent film, but we've gotten so many well-made and not so well-made movies that are coming directly into your home theater, and I'm here to let you guys know my honest thoughts on if you should take the time to check them out. Now, first and foremost, this film is written and directed by Jeremy Saulnier, who also directed one of my favorite A24 movies, The Green Room, which I think is a fantastic film. You guys should definitely check it out, and a lesser-known gem, Murder Party. If you guys have no clue about Murder Party, I definitely suggest you check it out. I found it randomly at a Dollar Tree one time. I liked the cover. I liked the back synopsis a little bit. Took a chance. I really liked that indie film. Now, it's also important to note that I do like films like this. Not just the revenge factor of someone getting done wrong, so to speak, but I like the whole walking tall aspect of this film. If you guys have seen that movie, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, where certain events happen that lead to the corruption being unfolded or trying to be discovered by the public, and the lengths that the police department or whoever's trying to cover it up go to, which usually leads to an awesome shootout or fight scenes in, once again, a rural or small town area. I don't know why, but it's a niche demographic that I think they should kind of do more movies on. Mainly for the fact that I do feel like things like this happen in smaller towns because of the isolation. Now let's jump to our main players, starting off with Terry Richmond, played by Pierre. Now, I don't know this actor too well. I did see him in M. Night Shyamalan's Old, and I know a lot of people are like, he's been in greater things than that. I totally understand it. Trust me, I have not seen a lot of the indie projects or a lot of the series that he's been in. So this is somewhat of my introduction to him as a leading man. And I gotta say, this guy was awesome. This guy was so good at what he did. He has a physical presence. He just looks very clean cut. He's very well spoken as well. He's playing someone that's a Marine, so he kind of knows somewhat of what's legal and what's not legal when the cops are kind of detaining him, and it happens right away. You're thrown into the first 30 seconds of this movie knowing that the cops do not like him in this town. But once again, he knows his rights. He doesn't get ecstatic when he's being wrongfully accused, which I think anyone in that situation would just lose their shit, especially if wrongfully accused. But he's very cool, calm, and collective when it comes to a lot of these bad cops. Now, like stated in the synopsis, guys, they do take his money, they seize it, they try to throw some bullshit backstory on why they have to keep the money, and Terry finds out that the corruption goes deeper than surface level. Along the way, he has to recruit, so to speak, Summer McBride, who's played by Anna Sophia Robb. Now, she's fantastic in this as someone that is definitely trying to do the right thing. She also is a mother herself, so she has a lot of stakes at hand. We dive a little bit deeper into her backstory, and I think she does feel for Terry and feel that he was wrongfully accused, and she also wants to dig deeper herself, obviously not getting killed in the melee. Now, we can't have a band of misfits without a ringleader, right? So we have Don Johnson playing Chief Sandy Byrne, and I gotta say, I've seen Don Johnson in a lot of things over my years of watching cinema. I prefer him as the villain. I don't know what it is. He is so cool as a villain. Maybe because he doesn't have a villainous face. So to me, that's even more scary because he could blend in and people will believe his lies. And in this movie, they totally do. He also goes toe-to-toe with Terry a few times, which are very intense scenes that lead to some cool interaction and dialogue, where I get to find out a little more about this Pierre actor and his ability, so to speak, when he's matched with a seasoned actor. One thing that I did notice along the way is that for some reason, I kept comparing this character played by Pierre to like a Michael J. White character, and not just for the physical attributes, but more of he is a presence, he is a force to be reckoned with, but parts of this script call for jokes sometimes, and when he delivers those lines, they don't really hit as if someone else were playing his role. And by the way, it's also good to mention that John Boyega was originally cast for this role. So you guys let me know, would John Boyega have been a better pick to play a Terry Richmond, or are you fine with Pierre as Terry Richmond? I just wanted to mention that because I think some of the comedy beats in this script were written initially, once again, for John Boyega. It's not that he doesn't have charisma, he definitely does. I just think that his more serious factor, it's kind of like the comedy beats that you get in a John Wick movie. It's more delivered in a dry wit manner because this character is so intense. You know that he's skillful. You know that he can kill you in an instant. We find out that his profession, once he was a Marine, or at least his training, was close hand-to-hand combat. So it's like everybody wants to get away from him because he technically is a weapon himself. He doesn't even need guns, though he uses them. He is a trained killing machine. Now, going back to the story and the script of this film, I do like that I didn't know what I was going to expect. I think when you're thrown into this movie, you think that, oh, maybe from point A to point B, he's going to find out how to get his cousin out of jail or yada yada. But things do go sideways, and he gets deeper and deeper into, once again, the corruption of this town in particular. I believe it's in Louisiana. And by the way, I think these movies give the South a bad name. Let me know, Flix Talkers, if you guys are coming in from the South, because anytime we get a modern racist style type of movie, it's always done in the South. I understand there is deep roots of hatred rooted, once again, in the South, but I feel like you would not get the gist if this movie was filmed in California, so to speak, or Florida. I don't know. They're just still portraying a lot of these towns down south as backwards. But I definitely felt the realism. I felt from, once again, these officers that they were there just because they were corrupt. They had a lot of hatred for this character, Terry, once again, and they were going to do whatever it took to protect their own ass. Now, there is some downtime in the middle of this movie, just kind of for some exposition, some character development, some backstory, as this movie is clocking in at over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 11 minutes, which I initially thought would be too long, but you know what? It is interesting dialogue. You get to learn more about these characters, once again, their motivation, their fuel for sticking around and exposing this corruption, where in any other case with a person, they would just leave town as soon as possible. I like that. You're fighting for the right thing, and we get to see in this third act of the film that, oh, man, that's where it all shines. And I was even talking about this on a live stream recently, is that I feel like the problem with modern audiences is that we expect a huge, grandiose third act because that's all we remember. And I don't want that to be the determining factor for a film like this, but they did hit us with a huge third action-packed act, but it was fine because guess what? There was those action-packed beats or intense fight-out scenes sprinkled throughout this movie, and it hits you once again in the first 30 seconds, so I kind of dismissed that whole factor that a lot of movies like to do nowadays. All in all, I had a great time with this movie, mainly because I knew nothing about it. I didn't even see a trailer for it. All I knew is that a lot of my cinephile buddies were talking about it online, took a chance with it, and I came out on the other side really, really liking this one. So all that being said, guys, I'm definitely recommending Netflix's Rebel Ridge, and I will be giving this movie a solid 4 out of 5, saying you should definitely check it out this weekend or as soon as possible. All right, Flix Talkers, what did you think of Rebel Ridge? Please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Is this a movie that you guys thought should have got a theatrical release? Also, let me know once again in the comments below. And if you guys did appreciate my review and thoughts along the way, please let me know by hitting that big thumbs up to support the channel, and consider subscribing today for more reviews like this, movie reactions, and live streams here on the channel. All right, Flix Talkers, till next one, I'm gone. Peace.